Hello, my name is Bill Keach and I work for Sunbelt Computer Software. And today I would like to talk about the new AI object that was added in version 10.8a. Now, this object provides server-side access to the OpenAI and Gemini AI models. The description, of course, can be found in your help manual, as here is the help page right here. The object has three methods: initialize, question, and response, and one event named answer. It requires WebView 2 support, and if you're running an application server or web server, you need to run a new version that is provided that has this support built in. The actual access is done through JavaScript files that are located in the PLB AI_HTML directory, which allows us to provide a more easy maintenance and user modifications for any kind of specialized operation. So now let's look at some sample programs that use this new object. We have added three new programs to the Sunbelt-PLB samples on GitHub, named AIOBJECT AIOBJECT and AIOBJECT AIOBJECT shows a simple program of accessing ChatGPT. AIOBJECT shows a simple program of accessing Gemini. So let's look at these two programs first. We start by declaring up above a AI object, and we start with using the initialize method that requires us to specify the engine that we're using, the API key that would support it, and of course generalized instructions on how it should act. In this case, we're using ChatGPT, but if we swap over to the Gem side, you'll see that it's the same method, but in this case we're just specifying Gemini. Next, we actually register the answer event because questions are done asynchronously, and the response will be available once the answer event fires off. The question method will return either a 0 for success or an error code, and it will use the text given as the question. There is an optional body parameter that can be used for more sophisticated inquiries, and we will look at that later. Once a response has come back from the AI, we will fire off an answer event for that object, in which case you can then go look at the response. The response gets accessed by using the response method. It will always return the last response, and it will return in JSON the full answer that came back. This answer is very dependent on the engine that you're using, either Gemini or ChatGPT, and will contain far more information than just the answer. It will contain such things as the token usage and a lot of other bits and pieces that you may want to use in the future. However, it's easy enough just to pull out the text of the response. In this case, we take the JSON, we throw it into a JSON data object, and we just remove the text, and then we add it and show what the response is. On the Gem side, when we take a look at the response, it's the same thing, but you notice that we need to get a different type of string as their responses have a different format. So in this case, let's go run the Gemini program and ask a simple question. In this case, we'll just ask, what are some color names for red? Press the ask button, and then we'll get a response coming back to us in the program that gives us a number of colors for red. Finally, we have the examples program that when we run, you'll see that we'll give some examples of what you can do with AI. In this case, the example program will access ChatGPT. The first example is address extraction. In this case, we'll ask the AI to extract the name, address, and phone number from a string and put it in a JSON, and you'll see he's done that. So this is one way of being able to take data and extract bits and pieces of information out of it. The next is image analysis, where we have this image of a scanned page from the old Mac Databus Users Guide, and we will ask AI to go tell us the lettering on the page. So let's ask that, in which case he will take this image and he will examine it and show us the text on the page. And there, in Markdown language, we have the full text that was there on the page. So it acts as a nice OCR. The next example is something that's a pirate letter. And what we do is we ask for a letter be generated by Mr. Bill K, saying that he owes $20 for a coat. Obviously, text generation is one of the things that AI does very well. And you'll see our response here gives us a nice letter to do that. Of course, with our ability to send mail, you can produce a program that generates up various custom letters as needs be and sends them out. And of course, along that line as well is a translation. In this case, we will ask a English line to be translated into German. And of course, there it gets translated. And of course, we could have asked for a German line to be translated into English. The next example is, for example, text to number translation, where what we're just asking for is 1067, which is, of course, text, to be translated into a number. So there's lots of ways this can be used to manipulate data. The last one we have is actually pretty sophisticated. We'll show this, but what it does is it says, hey, can you please generate a XML file to be used in Excel that contains some data that we give you. So let's fire this one off here. And when it's done, what happens is it will take this custom data and then we'll save off a file. In this case, I've saved the file in sample1.xml. So let's actually take a look at the program and how it does some of these things. First, we'll take a look at our sample program, and this is what we've produced when we ask for an XML spreadsheet. So that's quite nice that he lays it out in very sophisticated order. So how did we get there? We'll see that for most of the questions asked, we just come in and switch. A lot of them, all we need to do is ask the question. In some of them, we call very specialized routines, but in the last one that we asked for generating that sample one, we actually use a different AI object we call file AI, which actually has a different event. And when we come down to this event, when he gets the data, instead he just actually writes it out to a file and then tells us what the generated file. So it's just as easy as that to generate files. All the rest, take the generated data and just display it. So what are some of our more specialized requests? When we analyze the image, we use the body parameter of the question, in which case we set up something in special body that said we would put our question in, which is what is the text of this image. And we also passed in where the image was located so that he could actually process the image. When we did the pirate question, we also did a little bit of special body information that we passed in. In this case, we're talking about showing that you can change the level of reasoning that you want for how much time should be spent. And of course, we added a new role called developer that told him to talk like a pirate. So please take a look at the example programs that just show a few samples of what you can do using AI to process data. My name has been Bill Keach. Hopefully you found this video enlightening and interesting. And until next time, have a good day.